This is Gamer CFC talking here. I'm going to do a review on a game that I've played since I was like 4 years old. I am now 18 and this is a game I'm going to review. This is Flashback for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Now if you don't understand a word I'm saying, leave a comment and I'll improve on the next video. And if need be, I'll redo a review on this game. But right now I'm just going to try this out and it's my first review, so go easy.
This is Gamer Boy talking here. Welcome back to a special episode of Classix Review. And today I'm going to take a look at and re-review some of those games that I reviewed in my original season of Classix Review. And I'm going to do them all up and I'm going to modernise them. And here they are in special HD glory. This is Classix Review Remastered.
Flashback is a cinematic platform game and was originally released in 1992 for the Amiga and was eventually ported over to multiple platforms including the Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Mega CD, the PC, Super Nintendo, 3DO, CDI and Atari Jaguar. The game was developed by Delphine Software International and was advertised as a CD-ROM game on a cartridge because of the animation style the game presents. Known as rotoscoping, this style of animation could also be seen in games like the original Prince of Persia and Delphine's own previous title, Another World. The game's plot is centred around the protagonist known as Conrad B. Hart, who upon escaping captivity and crash landing on a jungle on the planet Titan has lost his memory. He eventually retrieves a holocube which contains a hologram of himself prior to when he was captured. The hologram instructs him to meet up with a friend of his in order to regain his memory and get back at the organisation that captured him, and the game pretty much begins from there on. As previously mentioned, Flashback is a cinematic platformer made up of rotoscoped animation which allows you to move around the environment with much fluidity. With this, the challenge of the game comes from manoeuvring various obstacles and platforms without getting shot or falling to your death. Like Prince of Persia, each level in the game is made up of non-scrolling environments, which allows said level to be vast, both horizontally and vertically, featuring plenty of levels of altitude, giving the player the ability to utilise elevators to get around certain areas. Throughout almost the entirety of the game, your only weapon is a pistol with unlimited ammunition. Your means of defence are your shield, which acts as health points. The shield gives you 4 points by default, and if you absorb damage after having 0 points, you're dead, and more often than not will start at the beginning of the level or at the last save station that you saved at. You also eventually obtain a force field which you can use to deflect enemy gunshots. The game gives the player a handful of realistic abilities that you would expect your average human to be able to do, such as running, walking, rolling, climbing, and for some, drawing your weapon. This game does not play like your atypical side-scrolling shooter. It is a cinematic platformer and requires the player to learn from trial and error upon first playing the game. The game has some of the best pieces of music I have ever heard in a video game of this generation. The soundtrack sets the mood for every appropriate scene. If you're heading close to a dangerous area, the game's music will let you know. If you've passed a puzzle, the game's music will let you know. There is no semi-permanent background music as you play. Instead, you are presented with beautiful, authentic ambience that fits your surroundings. The game sounds gorgeous and the music is just fantastic. The game sounds eerie at times and the music will make sure that you are aware of that. As mentioned earlier, this game was advertised as a CD-ROM game on a cartridge, and it shows. Every level and backdrop is hand-drawn, and there is a ridiculous attention to detail. The game was released in a time when 3D graphics were little to nowhere to be seen, and I still cannot help but look at the level's environments and appreciate the sheer artistic scale that went into it. The game is stunning to look at. Even still today, you cannot say it is not impressive for its time. There wasn't too much I could say about Flashback. The game hasn't really had much of a legacy apart from its relatively unknown sequel, Fade to Black, which I've covered in a previous review, and its remake in 2013, which I liked personally, but I would probably get slated if I took the time to give a positive review. Flashback for the Sega Mega Drive is an outstanding game and is definitely my favourite game on the console next to Road Rash. Which I wonder...
The game was made by Electronic Arts in 1991, and by God, they done a very good job.
I said to myself I would not score my games as I'm starting to lose interest in using scores as validation of whether or not a game should be good or not. But if I had no choice, I would give this game a solid 10 out of 10. That's my biased attitude though. If you missed out on the game, it is widely available on all retro platforms, and if you're cheeky, just get an emulator and play it there. But I would recommend a purchase, at least just to say you have it. It is a fantastically brilliant game. Thanks for watching this special edition of Classix Review. This has been Gamerboy talking here on Gamerboy Gaming, where I play the games that you need to have. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Cheerio.